Good evening, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here. Hurricane Outlook and discussion time. Why another one today? Well, look at this. Went out to dinner with the family and got all sorts of text notifications and so forth. 99L. So here I am. I want to talk about it with you for a couple of reasons. One, because we do have some land masses that are in the way eventually. And two, because, yeah, it's out here. And it is the peak of the hurricane season, ramping up time, whatever. It's August 15th. You pay attention to these things now. And this has kind of not come out of nowhere, but it's definitely ahead of the models in terms of them not initializing it very well, so forth and so on. So here we are. Let me show you a couple of things that are important. I always like to look for the vorticity signature and see what that shows us. And there it is right there. The low-level vorticity at about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere. It's a little elongated from east to west, but there is some energy down here, and it's worth watching. And we will do so. It's forecast to move generally off in the direction of the southern Windward Islands and vicinity into the eastern Caribbean Sea, which this area is historically not very favorable for development this time of year, but we're getting there. We're getting to that point. Usually it's July and early August that this is more of a graveyard through here. And even though this is not a good comparison because of what happened last year, this is roughly in this vicinity where Harvey was this time last year, roughly, and it died away in the Caribbean Sea, and then it came back over here, and we remember what happened from there. So it does happen from time to time, and that's why we don't ignore these systems and just say, yep, nothing's going to happen, forget about it. We keep on this every day. So the vorticity signature is here, and we'll see. Let's see what it looks like over the coming hours through tomorrow, etc. This is subtropical storm Ernesto up here, and that has a much more rounded appearance to its vorticity, but still has a little bit of a tail coming off. Hence the subtropical. It hasn't quite bundled everything up yet. So let's see if 99L down here starts to become less like a bean turned sideways and more rounded in appearance. That's one thing that I'll be looking for tomorrow afternoon. So here's a fairly lengthy satellite loop, 35 frames off of the Tropical Tidbit site. Really cool that you can do that. And lots of deep popcorn type convection. Each of these blobs that comes up into the atmosphere, we call that convection. And you can see there's a couple of very important things to point out. One, notice how the clouds are just kind of wisping away, just kind of floating away, almost kind of like feathers. But more importantly, they are not getting torn off like that. We're not seeing them get torn away where it looks like a comet or a meteor going through the atmosphere. You've got your ball of clouds here, and then all the streaming away clouds like that. You've seen that before. And in fact, that's what this looks like right here, upper level shear. And we can look at a shear map, and sure enough, in this area down here, east of the Windward Islands, which right here, the windwards and leewards, upper level winds are favorable. Green means go, right? Red means stop. And it looks like it has a favorable window for the next several days, and it's over water temperatures that are warm enough, no doubt about that. And it's west of 40 degrees longitude, which is over here. And so all of that, the main development region is colder than normal and so forth and so on. None of that matters on this side of this box, this whatever, not a box, but the angle, the 90-degree angle that I drew. Everything on this side of the Atlantic Basin is warm enough. Ocean heat content's there, so forth and so on. So we definitely want to watch this. Very early preliminary look at the models. I mean, this is just right out of the gate, the first set on the area of investigation here. That's what we call it, an invest. See, right there, that's what it says, invest 99. Actually, we call it AL99, but 99L for short. I guess we're lazy. Here's the center, so to speak. And, it's not a defined depression yet. It's just a tropical wave, and it's an area that we're interested in for further investigation. All of us, us on this side, that are not working for the government, the National Hurricane Center, etc. Everybody who's got an interest in this, here we go. This is the first set of basically your simpler models. Let's wait and see over the next day or two when the three-dimensional dynamic models are run, the GFS, the ensembles, so forth and so on. We'll see what the calibrated versions of those. I'm sure Dr. Ventris will be talking about this. From here on out, this will get a lot of people's attention, and we're going to hear a lot of speculation over the next few days. Probably, I would venture to guess, a lot of people are going to say that it'll die somewhere in here. So we can just draw kind of a, what is that, an X with the eyes? Is that how they do it? And then like a dead face? It's terrible. I can't do it. Honestly, I bet that's what a lot of people are going to say. Once it reaches the Caribbean, it'll dissipate. Well, maybe, but maybe not. I am very curious to see how this changes. I mean, obviously, this should get your attention right here. Why does it show such rapid strengthening, so to speak, steady strengthening, to maybe even a Cat 3 hurricane? Come on, that's got to be wrong. Well, remember, this is the very first run of the models. We need to wait and see what happens over the next day or two, so don't get too worried about what we're seeing here. It is a steady ramp up, and we don't have a lot of divergence, all over the place. It's pretty, tight envelope, but it's limited, very limited. The intensity consensus, says hurricane, and that only tells me that the model is not seeing a lot of shear over the next 5 days, probably, and some other favorable factors, but I'm not going to bite on this just yet because it's not time to. This is the first look right out of the gate, okay? This is like your first round draft pick, and they get in their first game, and you got to see how they do. They're not necessarily going to score 85 points in a single game one of their career. That's the best analogy I've got for you. So I'm on top of it. I'll be talking about it tomorrow in the early afternoon, maybe early in the morning if it flares up even more, and we will proceed from there. All right, so that's what I know. I wanted to give you my two cents on it, my thoughts, and we shall see what we shall see. Just you folks in the Windward Islands, especially Barbados, points west and south from there, Trinidad, Tobago. Pretty good viewership from you folks down there on my YouTube channel and on social media. Make sure you're watching this. You know as well as I do, it does not have to even become a depression to bring you lots of bad weather. So we will be watching it, if not just for that, maybe what it does after that. We shall see. Have a great rest of your evening. I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. We'll talk about it some more tomorrow.